In the most dangerous corners of the wild world, where only the strongest and toughest creatures can survive, two gigantic beasts stand out because of their unbelievable power, terrifying aggression, and unstoppable survival instincts. Hippopotamus versus polar bear bare-faced snowflake. One is a massive river monster feared for its crushing bite force, explosive rage, and nearly indestructible body, while the other is the giant king of the frozen north, famous for incredible strength, deadly hunting abilities, and the power to survive in some of the harshest environments on Earth. Even though these animals live in completely different worlds, imagining a battle between them creates one of the most intense and unpredictable clashes in the entire animal kingdom. The hippopotamus is often underestimated because people usually see it resting quietly inside rivers. But in reality, it is considered one of the most aggressive and dangerous large animals in the wild. A fully grown hippo possesses an enormous muscular body, unbelievably thick skin, and a jaw powerful enough to crush bones with terrifying force. Unlike predators that rely on stealth or patience, the hippo depends on raw aggression and explosive attacks capable of destroying enemies within seconds. What makes the hippo especially terrifying is its unpredictable behavior, because it can suddenly charge forward with incredible speed despite its gigantic size. Many animals avoid entering hippo territory because once the hippo becomes angry, it attacks with unstoppable rage and overwhelming physical power. Its giant mouth and huge teeth are not only used for intimidation, but also function as deadly weapons during territorial battles and dangerous confrontations. Hippos are also highly durable creatures capable of surviving brutal conditions in rivers and swamp environments where many animals would struggle to survive. Their thick skin acts like natural armor, providing protection during violent fights and making them extremely difficult to injure seriously. On the other side stands the polar bear, the largest land carnivore on Earth, and one of the most powerful predators ever created by nature. The polar bear rules the frozen Arctic world with unmatched endurance, muscular strength, and deadly hunting intelligence. Unlike many predators that depend only on aggression, polar bears combine patience, intelligence, and overwhelming power to dominate their environment. These giant hunters spend much of their lives traveling across massive frozen landscapes, searching for food in temperatures cold enough to kill most creatures. Their thick fur and heavy layers of fat protect them against freezing conditions while also giving them incredible durability during combat. One of the most terrifying things about the polar bear is its raw physical strength, because its massive paws and crushing bite allow it to overpower large prey with brutal efficiency. Polar bears are also highly intelligent hunters capable of tracking prey over enormous distances and waiting patiently for the perfect moment to attack. Despite their huge size, they're surprisingly fast swimmers and powerful fighters both on land and in icy water. Unlike the hippo, which relies mainly on explosive aggression, the polar bear fights with calculated power, timing, and deadly precision. When comparing these two monstrous animals, the hippopotamus clearly dominates in jaw strength, body density, territorial aggression, and defensive durability, because its gigantic frame and thick armored skin make it one of the hardest animals in the wild to overpower directly. However, the polar bear has advantages in intelligence, adaptability, hunting skill, mobility, and combat strategy, because it survives as an apex predator in one of the harshest environments on Earth. The hippo prefers direct confrontations using overwhelming force and violent charges designed to crush enemies instantly, while the polar bear depends more on controlled aggression, tactical movement, and intelligent attacks that target weaknesses over time. In river environments, The hippo becomes extremely dangerous because water is its true kingdom, allowing it to move with surprising speed and dominate nearby territory aggressively. On icy land or frozen environments, the polar bear gains a massive advantage because it is perfectly adapted for cold weather survival and long-distance combat situations. Both creatures are absolute masters of survival and represent two different forms of unstoppable power. One rules through rage, defense, and crushing force, while the other dominates through endurance, intelligence, and predator instincts. If these two giant beasts ever faced each other in a real battle, the fight would become one of the most destructive and terrifying clashes imaginable because both animals possess the strength to seriously injure almost any opponent in the wild world. The hippopotamus would attempt to overpower the bear quickly using explosive charges and devastating bite attacks, while the polar bear would likely rely on intelligence, movement, and calculated attacks to avoid direct impact and search for weaknesses. Every second of the battle would become more dangerous because one successful hippo charge could completely change the fight instantly, while one perfectly timed attack from the polar bear could slowly turn the battle in its favor. Fire, according to many wildlife comparisons, the hippopotamus may have a slight advantage in direct close-range combat because of its incredible durability, terrifying aggression, and crushing bite force. But the polar bear's intelligence, endurance, adaptability, and deadly predator instincts make it one of the few animals powerful enough to challenge such a terrifying river beast in an ultimate battle of survival and strength.